Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Ghoul02 here, and I'm here on a pretty special day. I actually have a spoiler for the upcoming set, uh, Gunslinger in the Abyss. So, I know how this goes. You guys aren't here for me, you're here for the spoiler, but in case you aren't following me already, I talk about kind of the meta and a bunch of different things relating to TCG, budget builds, helping new players into the game, all that. Drop a subscribe if you haven't, all that good stuff. Anyways, without any further ado, I would like to get into my spoiler. And I'm not going to lie, I think this is maybe the first spoiler I've had that I could immediately see having a meta impact. So, this is Behemoth. So, Behemoth is a two-cost monster from Cat 7. It is multi-playable, and it has the attacks during your turn. It also becomes a forward with 7,000 power, haste, and when it deals damage to your opponent, put Behemoth into the break zone. When you do so, choose a forward opponent controls, deal it 8,000 damage. So this is a part of cycle of the monsters from this set. So if we go to our good friend Materia Hunter, and we filter by monsters, you can see Mandragora is also the same thing. So the whole cycle of the set is forwards on your turn. When they deal damage, they sacrifice themselves and do something related to their effects. The water one reduces the power of all your opponent's forwards. The earth one gets back a card. And the fire one does 8,000 damage. I think this whole cycle, honestly, is really playable. Something people I think maybe don't realize with Mandragora is it can actually loop itself back. And there just are very few good earth monsters for Mandragora in particular. But Behemoth is very notable for a lot of reasons. First of all, this is the first monster in the entire game to have the keyword haste. If you go here and I go to cards again, and I filter with monster and effects text haste, we have a couple of cards that can give haste to a forward, but there are no cards that can innately have haste as monsters, which obviously, when you think of a two-cost monster, first card that comes to mind is Realm. Realm can play this from the deck, which means that Realm now can tutor for a hasted monster, or hasted forward, which then also pairs well with one of the best other one-cost monsters. So Realm now is a one-card Marlboro that then also can pop itself to do 7k. So very, very powerful option for Realm decks. But I think it's just a generically good fire card, honestly. Reminds me a lot of a card that saw a little bit of experimentation when it came out, but not a ton. In the Opus 11 Zidane, which was a 2-cost 2k with haste that when it deals damage to your opponent, it deals 8k to a forward. It's the same line of text, but the big difference here is this Zidane is only 2,000 power, and Behemoth is 7,000. So this Zidane could be chump blocked really easily and kind of would have trouble getting in. Behemoth, you're okay if they chump block because you are kind of trading up. The body is very large relative to the cost. This doesn't die to Brynhildr, does not die to any of the like kind of normal removal spells you would throw at a 2-cost card. And this Zidane died to a Stiff Breeze. So even though this Zidane was technically repeatable, it was very hard for this Zidane to get multiple points of damage in without a lot of assistance. This Behemoth doesn't really have that issue. If it crashes, it crashes, and if it doesn't crash, it kind of functions as a removal spell. Something else that a friend pointed out to me is it is a Cat 7 character. So the Zac legend from Opus 25 actually can revive this. And I know this card hasn't seen a ton of play, and I sort of get it. But I do really like the idea in Turks. I think Turks' next set could be a real deck. For better or worse, I really don't like what the deck is likely to do. Where's Job? Member of the Turks. But because Elena is so strong as a haste forward that can become free, I could see a world where you go like Sung into Cisne, play a free Elena, then hard play a Zac, and then you can attack with the Zac, and Zac can bring back the Behemoth, and then you can attack with the Elena, which then allows you to attack with the Cisne, and all of a sudden you've done 4 damage for the cost of, I mean, your entire hand going first, but that's 4 damage plus a pop, and you're threatening to do more. So I think this deck could be very real, actually. I think the Rune and Reno are good, although in a meta that does not suit them very much, to be quite frank. Turns out that when you can't dull your opponent's active forwards, it's hard to give Reno's text box when they can just do it for their own benefit. But I wouldn't sleep on that as a potential use for it either. It would be off color in the deck, but off color cards have extra utility nowadays in the LB deck. And obviously, if you go for fire LBs, Red 13 would pair great in a Turks deck. As honestly, with Machina would be a pretty nice card in there as well. But giving all your Turks a much larger body and another haste First Strike Brave seems pretty nice. So yeah, a lot of monster synergies, a lot of Cat 7 synergies. I think the card is potentially very strong, and I am looking forward to seeing what it can do, and hopefully smashing into people's faces for lots of damage. Also, notably, I think it's going to be one of the best cards in Draft and Limited. 7K is a pretty good number to hit a lot of forwards, as you can see. It's kind of a smaller set for a lot of the most powerful forwards. But 8K gets into stuff like the Shiva, hits the Vaughn. So I think it'll be a really interesting card. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got. I think the set is looking very interesting. I'll talk more about kind of the set as a whole in a future video, and of course I'll have my live reaction stream where I'll try to avoid spoiling myself because it might be harder for me to get the live reaction like I've tried to do in the past, like as the thing comes out, but I do think it's been so much fun to do the live reaction that I will try to make sure that I do a blind react to it. So that will be all for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.